Greetings guys, hey, thank you for joining me and a warm welcome to you all. Pisces, this is your September reading for 2018, and if you've watched any of the other readings which have been uploaded a little bit earlier, we're going back to the basics this month with the Celtic cross reading. And I hope you enjoy it. It is still quite a profound reading that gives lots of insight and answers. But before we start, I have done some intuitive work for you. You guys came up with the number 9. Nines are often about the ends of cycles. Also the colour of purple relating to the third eye chakra area. So some of the other messages were completion and necessary endings, preparation for new beginnings, let go of the old to make way for the new. Perfect timing with the new seasons coming, because of course September heralds autumn or fall in the northern hemisphere, and in the southern it heralds in the action and activity and zest of spring. It may relate to a particular mindset or behaviour or friendship or job or residence, or could indicate a completion of a karmic lesson for you guys, this number 9, and the feeling of something ending. So we will now get into the shuffling. So this is for Pisces for September 2018. Let's see what's in store for you guys. That wasn't much of a shuffle. I'm not the world's best shuffler, I'm the first to admit it, but hey, you know, whatever works. This is how I've been doing it for as long as I can remember, so it's the way it is. Pisces. The first card is you, now, or the heart of the matter. Very nice, guys. The Ace of Rods. The second card is a challenge, something that blocks you. The third card is your conscious goal. The Queen of Pentacles. The fourth card is an unknown influence. The fifth card is the past influence, so something from the past. The sixth card is an approaching influence. The seventh card is an inner resource or talent that you have. The eighth card is how others currently see you. The ninth card is your hopes or fears. And your 10th card is the outcome. Well guys, you're a little bit like Sagittarius at the moment. You have a lot of major arcana cards, which could indicate that this could be a fairly big month for you. And given that we have just come through 3 eclipses, the first starting in July, I think it was around the 11th of July, or a bit later in July, and then the other 2 in August, creating a sort of a trine effect with many, many planets in retrograde as well. We've come through like a real shadow energy thing where a lot of us might have been having to face things that we've put away or been hiding from, or issues that have cropped up again that we thought we might have been able to have, you know, moved on from, but they've come back to bite us. So a lot of those sort of feelings have been coming around, and that number 9 for you guys, meaning the endings of and starting new beginnings, makes complete sense to me. So let's just count up your major arcanas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 10 cards. And when you think about it, there are only 21 major arcanas in the deck, and the rest are the minors. So the percentage perspective of getting 5 out of 10 is even a greater percentage when you take those calculations into factor. There's 2 here that don't come out a great deal, and that is the Wheel of Fortune and the World. And in real terms, even the Lovers doesn't come out that often. So let's remove the card that's blocking you for the minute so that you can see the one underneath, which is the heart of the matter, and that is the Ace of Rods. Well, it's interesting because the aces are all about new beginnings, so seeing something old off and starting something new, which makes sense again with the messages that arrived before the reading. The Ace of Rods is often talked about in terms of a creative, passionate ability or something to do with your prospects around career endeavours as well. And it usually means that there's a new idea coming, or a prospect or a project or an offer coming your way. The Aces are considered a very positive card and a positive omen about new beginnings. So this could either be on your mind that you're wanting to start something new that you're passionate about, or within your career sector. It could also be that you are being propositioned for something that you may not have even known was coming, or that you've got some sort of project in your mind that you are working on creating. Because I do know all my Piscean friends, which I have more Piscean friends than any other type, they're so creative. Most of all of them own their own businesses and have done many different things in their careers as well. So they've flipped careers many times, and they're very good at what they do. So this could be about starting a whole new realm, like even flipping a career for some of you. Or it could be a project you've been working on and it's coming to its final stages and moving into the next, which is like bringing it into the manifestation level. Now the thing that's blocking you right there is this Three of Pentacles, and that is also considered a really fortunate card, but when it's in the blockage position, it has to be saying that there's something here that's creating a stagnant energy or a lack of flow. So that Three of Pentacles usually represents accolades or achievements or an award or progress within a career in particular, and sometimes something like a pay rise. It can often mean working with 3 people and the finishing or completion of a project. So given that this is crossing that Ace of Wands there might be something tied up. They might be tied up together somehow. And it could be that you've got a project to complete, but there's new ideas coming in, or there's new offers coming to you. Or you might have been working in a team environment with 3 people, but there's something new that's coming, and that this 3 people scenario or the previous project needs to be completed before you can move on. And some of you might be finding that a hindrance because your passions or your time or money is being spent on the new concepts or ideas. Sometimes we have to take the time to finish off the things we've started, and even though we might already have moved on, we've got to go back and complete it. It could be that some of you are waiting for something like a pay rise, and you might have expected it to have turned up by now, and it's not. Some of you might be waiting on exam results, or a degree being handed out, or something being marked and returned to you, like an essay or an assignment, or even if you've handed in something like a thesis or a book to see if someone would print it, and this might be a hold up on some of these projects around for you at the moment. We go to the third card up here, the Queen of Pentacles, your only court card, and that is the conscious goal. So some of you might be thinking about money in a positive way. That Queen of Pentacles is very good with her finances. She's also very social, and she can host a great party or soiree. She would be the hostess with the mostess in life. And some of you may have this on your mind about social engagements, or buying something opulent for your home, or furnishings, or a new item like a car, or perhaps doing something with your money, whether it's investment or purchasing or buying or selling or upskilling. Or maybe this person is in your life and she's taking up a lot of your energy and thoughts or ideas, or you enjoy being with her. For some of you, she could be someone you want to attract the attention of. So it could be like a new friend coming in, or a co-worker, or a potential boss or employee as well. She is a great person to have around, and she really is quite good with money and also social events. She could be like a party planner or a wedding planner, or helping you to plan an event, like a family gathering or a big occasion, or even a holiday some of you might be going on. She could even be someone like I'm trying to think of the right word, like a representative that you go to, and she gives you advice about things along those lines. We come to the fourth card, and this is the unknown influence. Oh wow, I didn't realise, I wasn't even looking. It's an ace, so 2 aces in a line as well. And I tend to think when things are lined up and there's a direct, pattern in the system, that they become sort of stronger. So 2 aces together may give you even more power within this reading. So given that this is the unknown influence coming, the Ace of Swords again is a positive card, but it's often at the cost of something. So it shows success holding that sword up, and swords are always about communication one way or another. So sometimes this can be written communication, or verbal, or contractual. So sometimes it's the signing of documents of one type or another. Now I've seen this card turn up when things like divorce proceedings are finalised, and you get that final satisfaction of saying, yeah, the divorce has come through, we're clear of each other, we're moving on. It can also turn up when there are things like family court cases, and there have been perhaps parental obligations going through the court cases, and there might be this feeling of success there as well, like you might be awarded the custody of the children, for instance, or when blended families come together or an adoption takes place. It can also be there when businesses are being either formed or broken apart as well. So that ace can represent many different perspectives, but as I said, it often pertains to some form of communication, and it could be in writing. So perhaps this might come to do with something along this card here. So for some of you who have been waiting for either written confirmation or a contract coming in, or some form of communication about this project that you might have had on the go, it could be coming with this Ace of Swords. And if it's not related to that blockage card at all, then it could be related to personal issues such as that I have just mentioned, things like separations, divorces, litigation cases, anything legal. Even if you've been waiting on an inheritance, or perhaps finances coming through that needed to be signed off by a contractual lawyer or an accountant or the tax man or something like that, any of those type of things could represent or be represented by that Ace of Swords. So again, it's tends to be favourable when it's in your reading anyhow, but it could be that you've had to give something away to get it, if you understand that philosophy. The next card, the fifth one over here, which is your major arcana, the Lovers, well, it could be indicating that in the past you've had this wonderful feeling of real deep companionship or trust or support or harmony, love, even, sexual intimacy with a person. And perhaps you are either fondly remembering it, or there are ties one way or another that are connected to something right here in the now. And this could be again tied up with this number 9 that you got about the past, or shadow thoughts or feelings. Perhaps it's something that you fondly look back on and wish it was still there, or that there are parts of that that have carried through for you now and have taken you towards making you who you are now, and they're the positive aspects of that relationship. It could have been a very deep soulmate relationship, or it could have been a twin flame key type holder relationship as well. Now it can also relate to businesses. So some of you may have had a wonderful business format or structure with another person or a partnership in the past, and this may be still going on, or it might be growing, or it might be diversifying, or you might be restructuring it, or thinking of uplifting it again, or getting in touch with the people, or doing something similar with another business proposition or opportunity. So there's many different facets of the Lovers card. It can also represent that a possible past lover might be coming back into your life one way or another, and you might be making contact with them. And it could be that a choice has to be made about, do you go ahead with it, or do you let it go, or do you wish to reignite it? There may be feelings along those lines with that card as well. So we come to number 6, which is the approaching influence, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now it's not a common card to turn up, and I don't see it very often pop out. So when it does, it's a very karmic card, and it tells you that the universe is making decisions about timing in your life. Timing and events, actually. I always see it as a fortuitous card, because the Wheel of Fortune, fortune is a word of good luck, if you like, or good chance. And we see that king and queen on the top of the wheel in the height of merriment, really enjoying themselves. And this hand on the left-hand side slowly turning a very big wheel, and it appears they are about to fall off. So sometimes there is a little bit of a hidden meaning in the card that we can often feel as if we're on top of the world and things are going really well and we don't see change coming. And sometimes the change that turns up is not what we kind of expected. So it could put you headed in a different direction. And this can be from many different aspects of your life. It could be personal relationships, it could be health, it could be business and career or finances. It doesn't mean that you're headed in a bad direction at all. It just means that things are going to change. And I think that's the operative message for this card: be guaranteed of change. Some of you may feel it subtly, and some of you may be acutely aware of its impact in your daily life. But it's also, again, a slow tuning wheel. So don't expect kind of things to happen overnight when this card appears. Rather, it's an ongoing, I was going to say destabilization, but I think that's a negative term. It's an ongoing change of vibrations around your current direction. And each of you individually will have to sort out which part of your life that's actually referring to. We come down to card number 7, and this is for the inner resource or talent. And we have Temperance here. Now, Temperance is the card of balance, and it talks about bringing balance in at all levels of life. So this is emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. In particular, I see physical there. I see she is pouring water from one golden chalice or goblet to the other. And this is often in my mind pops up about diet and exercise and keeping the body physically fit, and also spending time outdoors in beautiful areas like this with nature and feeling grounded in particular. So some of you might need to ground yourself or be outdoors a little bit more and be at one with Mother Earth and feel the energy and the strength that she gives. And even the energy from the sun, which often rebalances us in many different ways and re-energizes our batteries in particular. So if any of you have had like a cold, or you've had a period where your health has been a bit deflated, whether physically or emotionally, taking the time out and really connecting again with Gaia or Mother Earth could help energize those batteries. And this could be your powerhouse, because remember, this card is the resource or talent that you have. So if you're feeling a bit jaded or overworked or overpressured, or have a writer's block or have no real zest at the moment, do some of this. This is really beneficial for you. Also, she talks about, I sort of said, spending time at areas like this by bodies of water or in the mountains or out with nature. So some of you might be going on a trip at this point in time too. And again, this could be a real hidden resource for you, like just a perk up, just what the mind, body and soul need at this point in time. Also balance your emotions in particular, and try not to let, if you have to get into debates or situations that require communication, such as this one over here, try to use intelligence and not let your emotions take control, because that will also be a hidden resource for you at this point in time. We see this card up here, which is how other people see you, and we also see this ecliptical moon, suggesting that the eclipses may have played a role in how you're feeling at the moment. And this is about making decisions, this card, and feeling a lack of balance or knowing which way to go. So some people might sort of be thinking, oh, I can see that person's a bit stuck at the moment. They can't really decide if they should be doing this or that, or going there, or staying here. So other people could see that you're pondering upon something and trying to make a decision. And it could be a big decision for you personally, given the amount of major arcana cards that have turned up. So I guess it just talks about feeling the gut instinct a little bit more because she can't actually see there. So going on gut instinct, but also using some intelligence in the decision that you have to make. And a good example of this is writing it down in a list and seeing which list has more beneficial points to it. So reasons for choosing A and reasons for choosing B. And usually when we write things down, we can see with a little more clarity, which is exactly what she can't see right there. The twos can also be about partnerships and relationships, so it could be surrounding something like that as well. And again, there's a possibility that it goes back to some sort of business association. Card number 9 is your hopes and or fears, and that's the World card way up there. It seems a long way away. The World card is again a symbol of endings and new beginnings. The woman in the middle has a great degree of knowledge. She seems to hold 2 banners, almost scrolls, in her hands. They almost seem like an academic scroll that you might get when you have completed a degree. So some of you, this might be the end of a time of education, or the end of a degree, or the end of an era for a job or career, and moving into something new. Sometimes this card literally means going on a world trip or travelling. So this might be, some of you have this as your hope, to go on a big trip or travel, or to learn something new, or to complete something old. She also has a degree of sexual liberation and freedom because she has very little clothing on. So sometimes this can be the passageway for new romance to come in, and particularly exciting. And this Lovers card over here, you know, there's a feeling that some of you might have been thinking about romance or love or partnerships or relationships, in pondering back to the past maybe, and even thinking, gosh, I wish I had that again in my life. And it's coming up here again, possibly with the World card. So oftentimes that card signifies there is a potential mate coming, or someone that you really gel with, and oftentimes it can be a foreigner, so someone not of the same nationality as yourself, and that you may make really great friends with them, and these friends could become lifelong friends that you have forever as such. And sometimes you do meet them on trips or travels or overseas. Sometimes you go to visit them as well. If this is a fear of yours, then it might be a fear that a cycle is coming to a completion and you're a bit worried about moving on, or what's around the next corner, or how do you get through the completion, or how do you actually achieve success going through it. So again, it's about having balance and understanding it and using your intellect and knowing that every step of our journey takes us to the next one. And I think there's a really worthwhile little saying, and it's, there is no future in the past. So if we always look at the past and use that as a guide point or a meter for moving forward, we often limit our perspective or our understanding of how far we can take ourselves or what direction we can go in. So looking in the present or the future is always better than harking back too often to the past. We come to your final card, the outcome card, and it's the Hermit. It seems a bit grey and gloomy, but it is a major arcana and it's a positive one. It's a very spiritual one, and interestingly enough, Pisces, you are a spiritually connected sign. You are one of the most psychic of all the 12, so you do have an innate ability to feel intuitively and to connect to the esoteric realm and to the, you know, cosmos, if you like. So the Hermit is a chap who has done this. He has gone away on his own and spent a bit of time becoming illuminated, and that's what his lamp actually kind of gives off the feeling. He goes into meditation or yoga. He nourishes his mind, body and soul with positive vibrational thoughts, and he learns about life and the dynamics of it. So even though it seems a bit gloomy, he finds great insight and wisdom and clarity and connection to his own soul when he spends this time alone. And given that this is the outcome card, it feels as though some of you will find illumination as the process of the month moves forward. But I think that Hermit card is way further than just a month. I think it's taking you through the rest of the year and into the beginning of next year as well. So because of the fact that it's the last card there for the reading, and the traditional Celtic cross doesn't necessarily limit itself to a month. You know, this can be used as a 6-month spread in many cases. And that's why I said earlier about the Wheel of Fortune card. It doesn't necessarily mean this is all happening right now, but rather it's a longer term transitional phase that you're moving into, and that changes could be occurring, really, as I say, right through till next year as well. So guys, there's your reading. It's a nice comprehensive reading. Come back and listen to it as often as you like, and even after September has finished, come back a few months later and check it all out and see how accurate it is. So thanks for joining me. I have really enjoyed doing your reading. I love it when you leave your comments and like and sub the video and sub the channel. Also check your moon and rising signs, because you could find there's some really interesting information there as well. So thank you everyone. Have a great super duper September ahead. Namaste.